All right, welcome back, everybody. Just want to let you know that the EntreArchitect Community Annual Meeting is coming up. It's coming up November 1st through 3rd in Austin, Texas. And today I want to continue to give you the chance to hear from the fantastic lineup of speakers that we have that are really going to make this a must-attend conference. If you haven't heard about it before, it's the EntreArchitect Community Annual Meeting. It's the business conference for entrepreneur architects. In fact, it's the first ever live conference that's dedicated just to small firm entrepreneur architects. So I started this live stream series a little over a month ago, maybe going on 2 months ago now. But I wanted to do this to introduce you to our speakers, and now I'm bringing them all back to give you a little teaser about their talks. So good afternoon. If we've never met before, my name is Jeff Eccles. I'm the Vice President of Community Development at EntreArchitect, the largest worldwide community of entrepreneur architects. And I'm also the host of Context and Clarity Live. So I have the benefit, the pleasure of doing, I was going to say double duty, but like multiple duties with today's guest, having had them on Context and Clarity Live before and connecting in lots of different ways over the past few years. So to continue this series, I'm joined by the person that kicked this series off. So when we started the Meet the Speaker series, this guest today was our first guest. He's a friend, and he's someone who has an expertise and an approach that I know that you can really benefit from. So let me introduce to you Bryon McCartney. Bryon is a co-founder and the chief what is that? Chief Creative Strategist. There's a lot of consonants in there. Chief Creative Strategist at ARCHMARK, and he'll present an interactive workshop at the EntreArchitect Community Annual Meeting. So, hey, Bryon, welcome back. Thanks for joining me again today.
Thank you, Jeff. It's always great to be here with you. And I'm really looking forward to the event in November. I've been getting prepped and ready for that, and I'm excited to tell everybody more about my my session that I'm going to be leading at the event.
Yeah, it's going to be the whole thing is going to be a good time. I'm really looking forward to being in Austin again. It's been a few years, COVID, kind of in the middle there. So Austin's great, fun to be back there, fun to meet some people in person that we've never met before that we feel like we know really well. You and I and your wife Kelly reconnect again in person, so that'll be a lot of fun. But
the last time was Eccles, right, up in Vermont. That was like a year ago, right?
Yeah, it was. It was Eccles, the ill-named but excellent event up in northern Vermont. That was a good time, and so we're going to do a repeat of it here.
On a larger scale this time.
On a larger scale. Absolutely. I see Chris Novelli is in the chat. Hey, Chris, welcome back from Massachusetts. He says he's really looking forward to Bryon's workshop. So we're going to find out about that here momentarily. If you are joining us from Facebook in particular, and you're typing away in the comments and it's not popping up, it's not on the screen like Chris's comments are there, it's because you're in a private Facebook group. And Facebook has some rules, which of course we abide by. In order to let your name, your likeness, and your comments out, you have to give Facebook permission to talk to Restream, which is this platform that we use here. So in the lower left-hand corner, if you open up another tab on your browser, type this into the browser window, chat.restream.io/FB, like Facebook. And a couple of clicks later, you'll give Facebook permission to talk to Restream, and your comments will show up just like Chris is there. And it'll be great to have you in this conversation. Feel free to make comments, ask questions as we go along. This is going to be casual, and we're just really here to learn more about Bryon and what he's going to talk about, what he's going to present when we're in Austin. So again, chat.restream.io/FB. That's typed in the lower left-hand corner of your screen right now if you need it. So with that, I know Chris knows who you are. I know most of our community know who you are. But in case somebody missed the Meet the Speaker introduction that we did probably a couple of months ago now, back in maybe the beginning of August, why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, why you do it, that type of thing, and then we'll roll into talking about your session.
Yeah, well, as you mentioned, I have a consonant-laden title as Chief Creative Strategist at ARCHMARK,
Now you're going
branding
to be
and
questioning
marketing.
that.
Yeah, branding and marketing for architects. So yeah, we specialize at ARCHMARK in helping architecture firms, uh, primarily smaller firms of anywhere from. Well, we work with some solos, but up to about 15 staff members or so. So the smaller firms, and uh, the main ways we help them is with helping them get their messaging clearer, get clear about who they are, get clear about who their clients are, and then help them write and create a really an effective website that showcases their work, their expertise, their talents. Um, and then we also help them with content marketing and social media marketing as well. So it's really it's what we call a subscription-based marketing plan. So it's more of a long-term uh, uh, effort to help them raise their recognition in the market, help them showcase their expertise so they can build a better reputation, and also help them grow productive relationships with prospects, clients, partners that might be able to help them. So yeah, that's what we do. What I do is really help on more of the strategy side, and helping clients think about the opportunities that they can leverage to get more of the ideal clients and better projects that they really want.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I
that's
love that.
that's
That focus on the strategy. We hear that all the time.
hmm
When I'm hosting context and clarity conversations, sometimes we venture into the marketing, business development world or the social media world, and people are always, and I think it's natural. He's, oh, what about TikTok? What about this, that, or the other? And we can talk about tips and tactics until we're blue in the face, but if we're not focused on strategy, then you know the tips and tactics can't keep the boat afloat. So
yeah.
um, I know you're going to be focused on strategic planning. How did you come up with that as the workshop that you're going to present? Where'd that idea come from?
Yeah, so it's a long story, but I'll try to summarize it a little bit.
We
So
got all day.
actually, my wife and I have been working together for uh, a long time now, since 2007. We initially started a firm when we lived overseas in Switzerland. We moved back to the U.S. in 2012. We started a new firm, and then ArcMark really came about from our work with a business coach and mentor. And part of the core of that learning was understanding how to do strategic planning for our business. And strategic planning has really, uh, I will say, just from a personal point of view, it's been one of the most foundational things
Mm.
that has really led to our success. It's helped us to focus. It's helped us uh, not get stuck in just worrying about the clients all the time. We also realize we have to work on our own business. It's helped us do less but better, to
Mhm.
really focus on the essentials. And so last January, I was actually presenting a webinar to the EntreArchitect community, and uh, I was we were doing some Q&A at the end, and the question of strategic planning came up, and I started talking about the strategic planning process that we go through and take some of our clients through. And I just started seeing in the chat, like, there's all these people going, "Wow, that sounds really cool." And so I offered it out to the community at that time. And to Mark, I said, "Yeah, we could put together a strategic planning session."
Mhm.
And then just shortly after that, we found out that there was going to be an in-person event, and I reached out to Mark and I said, "Hey, remember that thing we talked about? What about doing that at the event?" and he liked the idea. So that's where we're at. We're really looking forward to being able to present this. One, because I think it's a topic that a lot of people, we talk a lot, like, as you said, I think a lot of us talk about, we got to have a strategy. And so we put strategy up on a pedestal. I
Right.
think a lot of us do. And it seems like this thing that's hard to do. It's unattainable. It's like, oh, I'm going to have to gather all this stuff. And it doesn't have to be that way. The process that we use at this point, we still do it with we're still part of that mentor group. And I just did this yesterday. We did our strategic planning yesterday with that group, and that's a more drawn out, it's more detailed. There's 40 of us in a group together doing this all together. So that's more of a longer process where we look at 10-year, 3-year, 1 year, and then 90-day plan. This session that I'm going to be doing in November, we're going to focus on 90 days in 90 minutes. So I want to be able to
Nice.
get people clear about the next 90 days in that 90-day session. So we're going to focus on fundamentals. We're going to try to block out the distractions and just focus on the essentials of what we need to be doing to move our business forward for the next 90 days. And that's what it comes down to. So
Yeah. I love that.
we're going to take the planning off the pedestal. We're going to make it
Yeah.
attainable. We're going to
Yeah.
make it easy to do and fun to do.
Yeah. I love that. It's a good hook too. 90 days in 90 minutes. That's awesome. On Monday, as part of this series, I talked with Megan Dolly, who's a virtual CFO, or maybe she doesn't call herself this, but fractional CFO is really what she's doing there.
I know Megan well. Yeah.
Yep. I know that you do. She is going to present a session as well at the EntreArchitect Community Annual Meeting, and she's coming with spreadsheets, and we're going to work through this. And I think that's one of the great unique things about this conference. Number one, it's a single track, so you're not going to have to make a choice. Oh, do I want to go to Bryan's session, or do I want to go to this session on Hardy Plank in rain screen application or something? Just making stuff up, but
I think that's an AIA standard session at the for CEUs, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's like the most famous lunch and learn, or infamous lunch and learn.
Exactly.
This is where we talk about this in context and clarity quite a bit. Is we talk about cookies, because this is where my problem starts. My trust issues start with raisin cookies parading as chocolate chip cookies. And it all goes back. I'm sorry, James Hardy. Sorry, AIA. But it all goes back to lunch and learns, where you go and they've got the box lunch there. And I don't care what the sandwich is. I'm looking in the bottom of the box to see what the cookie is. And you pick it up, you go back to your seat, you start listening to this presentation on Hardy Plank, and you get down to the bottom, and that wasn't a chocolate chip cookie. That was the most evil cookie in the world. It's an oatmeal raisin cookie pretending, imitating a chocolate chip cookie. That's where it all starts.
These deceptions are they're just not fair. And I think that whole oatmeal raisin masquerading as a chocolate chip cookie is just, it's all wrong. It's all wrong.
Yeah.
But
the good news is you are not going to experience that at the EntreArchitect Community Annual Meeting. You're going to hear Bryan. You're going to work through the 90 days and 90 minutes process. When Megan is presenting, you're going to work through her process. So we're going to have speakers. We're going to have hands-on learning, and it's all about building your business. And that's what's really going to make this a unique opportunity. Is it's not just sitting and listening. We're going to have some great speakers across the board, and we're going to have some great interactive sessions as part of that. So I'm really looking forward to this. One of the questions that I've been asking all of the guests in this series is, because I believe in being intentional, even when we're going to conferences. Um, Somebody that's listening right now, or they're watching the replay of this, they're planning to go to the conference. What should they do to prepare to be best prepared to show up for your interactive workshop session?
That's a great question, and I think Chris asked a similar question in chat, and
Yep.
so this is what we call becoming as an A player, right? We want you to
Like
come
it.
as A players. So yeah, you're coming to this event. Yeah, yeah, it's gonna be about being social, reconnecting with people,
Yep.
or connecting for the first time, and all that's great. But we also want you to come as A players, and we want you to be prepared to do work. And for our session, for the session that I'm going to do, most of it you won't need a lot of preparation, but you will need to think about some things. And some things
Yeah.
that I want you to think about in preparation for my session is, where do you want to be in a year? Where do
Mm.
you want your firm to be a year from now? Like if we from the date, I think I'm speaking on the second or third, but uh from that date for in a year in 2023, on that date, where do you want to be in your firm, in your business, right? And I'm talking about, like, what do you want to be earning? What do you want things to look like for you personally? Do you want to be able to take a month off and still have your business run without you?
Yeah.
Do you want to have a really clear lead generation, marketing plan in place that is going to help you get the ideal clients, better projects that you want? Are you going to are you going to improve your sales process so you close
Mm.
more deals? What are your goals? What is most important to you? Start to think about, what am I going to prioritize over the next year? Because that's going to fit really well with what we're doing. I think also having some insight into your past performance in terms of numbers and earnings and so forth, that can be really helpful too, because it can give you some basis on which to kind of evaluate, like, what would be a good goal for me revenue wise.
Mhm.
So I think, probably what Megan's going to talk about will help support that. um, the other thing too is, maybe when it comes to past performance, looking at what has gotten you to where you are now. So in terms
Mhm.
of measurables, like, if for example, that you get five inquiries a month, but you only close maybe one of those a month, that gives you an idea of kind of your close ratio. If you're
Mhm.
actually doing proposals, how many of those leads are actually leading to a proposal, how many of them are actually leading to a project, gives you an idea of, like, well, how many additional leads would I need to get
Right.
X number of additional projects? So thinking like that, I think, is going to be helpful. Just kind of being aware of what's been going on in your business, maybe also what's been working, what hasn't been
Mhm.
working. That's a good thing to kind of have in a frame of mind as well. And again, I don't think you need to do a ton of preparation. The session that we are going to do, uh, we have one of the I'll give away one of the hot principles. So there's 5 hot principles of this session that I'm going to talk about. One of them is having a draft mindset. So in this session, I
Mhm.
want you to be in draft mode, right? After the session, when you get back to the office and you've had a chance to talk to your team members or your partner or whatever, you can refine what we do in the session and make that plan, kind of finalize that plan. But in the session, we want to be in draft mindset. We want to work quickly. We want to get our ideas out, and we want to think about it, obviously, thoroughly, but we want to be prepared that maybe there might be some additional refinement beyond the session.
Yeah. Yeah. Love it. All right. There you go. One of the five hot
topics.
topics. That's excellent. I love it. Yeah, I love everything about this because this conference is all about whether I say this all the time in context and clarity, whether you're the employee of a firm and maybe you aspire to start your own, or maybe you're the employee of a small firm and you just want to be a better employee, maybe move up into leadership, or you've owned your own firm for a while. This is all about building better firms and helping you practice the way that you want to practice. I know that all the entrepreneur architects that are out there are doing their own thing, whatever that means, for a reason, right? And a lot of times, I think that boils down to practice doing it their way, and maybe that means splitting time with working and taking care of the kids, or whatever. There's a million different varieties of that. And so I love the fact that we're talking about strategic planning, because we're going to develop a strategy for you in the way that you want to do things for your
Yeah.
firm.
Hey,
Yeah,
can I interject with something here? Because you just
absolutely.
said something that's I think is really important. So a lot of times when we do strategic planning or we talk about it, I think, there's this pedestal part of like,
Yeah.
it sounds complicated, right? But there's also this one of the things that works against us when we talk about strategic planning is this idea of like, well, why should we plan? Things are uncertain anyway. We don't know where the
Sure.
economy is going. There's a storm hitting Fort Myers right now. I've got five clients down in Florida that are all going to be affected by this. We can't plan for this kind of stuff, and all of that is true. I totally admit that you can't plan for everything, but having a plan
Yeah.
is is the important part. If you have a plan, you know what you need to do, and it helps remove, like I said, all this other distraction, helps you focus. And that's really what I want to, because I know there's going to be people out in the audience that are going, I don't know if I don't know if strategic planning interests me. That might be a good time to go run to 7-Eleven and get some oatmeal raisin cookies. But
There's never.
but I'm going to tell you that I had the same exact mentality when I started doing strategic planning, and my wife has shared that with me as well. But we said, you know what, we're going to give this the old college try,
Yeah.
and it really has changed how we look at our business, how we look at what we're doing, what we want to accomplish, and giving ourselves guardrails for reaching those goals.
Yeah.
So I'm
Well,
uh, I'm
I'm glad
reaching
you.
out to the naysayers here. So
Yeah, exactly. And I'm glad you brought that out, or brought that up. And I know this is sort of a worn out cliche, but um, I also know that you're going to be driving to Austin.
yeah,
And so, we could look at it. We could say, well, okay, because you're driving, you're going to map out every single bit of the route between where you live and Austin, Texas.
we
Yeah,
already know
absolutely.
where we're getting gas. That's
Right. But
that's like,
you can't predict traffic, and you
nope.
can't predict, all the things that are going to happen. But you're going to go from point A to Austin, Texas, and you've got a good idea of how you're going to get there.
Yep.
And one of the things that I like, when it comes to strategic planning is, okay, we know we're going to go from point A to point B. And it's also possible for us to work some flexibility in there.
Hmm.
As long as we know what our goal is, as long as we know where we're going, hey, maybe we do want to take this route over here and see this giant ball of twine or whatever the heck is between
Yeah,
between your house and
exactly.
Austin, Texas. Um, but you can give yourself a little bit of grace. You can give yourself some flexibility to explore some things, and then get back on the road to Austin, Texas, or
Yeah.
whatever that goal is. And again, it's a cliche, it's a kind of a worn out analogy, but I think it's a good one.
It's a great
Um,
analogy. I think
yeah,
it's very relevant. Yeah, I am. I am driving from Vermilion, Ohio to Austin, Texas with my wife and my dog. So it's going to be a fun trip. We're going to drive there. We're going to drive back, and we've got it all mapped out. My wife is she got on the AAA website. She's got everything figured out. So we'll see how well we stick to our plan and how the traffic affects us. But that's the way we're going to roll. We got a plan.
Yeah. I don't know if there are any giant rocking chairs or balls of twine or anything.
Oh, there
on
are.
that route.
you know there are. Come on.
I'm going to be watching for them on Instagram.
I'm gonna have to take pictures and document it all, but it should be
Absolutely.
fun. It should be fun.
It should be. We got John Jones in the comments now. Another friend. Got Chris and John both there. So great to have both of you. And we'll see both of you in 5 weeks or so
Yeah.
in Austin.
Already 5 weeks. Oh my goodness.
Oh, it's amazing. It's going by fast. I mean, we're going to be in October Saturday, right? Saturday is October 1st. So the month is going to fly by, and we'll be headed to Austin before any of us before we know what's happened. So there you have it. Bryon McCartney, marketer, strategist, co-founder and chief creative strategist at ARCHMARK, at the EntreArchitect Community Annual Meeting in Austin, Texas, November 1st through 3rd. He'll deliver an interactive workshop titled Strategic Planning Made Simple. He's going to talk about 90 days in 90 minutes. This is going to be a fun time. It's going to be good. It's going to be very helpful for your practice. So it's if you needed another reason, right, besides the driving analogies and everything else, come to Austin for this session and all the rest of them. If you're an architect that wants to learn to build a better business, that wants to learn to practice your own way, or maybe you're the employee of a firm, like I said, or you aspire to practice and do it your own way, go over to smallfirmconference.com, and I'll put that down in the lower left here. Go over to smallfirmconference.com for more information on that. There it is down the lower left, smallfirmconference.com. Again, it's the first ever live conference that's dedicated just to you, to the small firm entrepreneur architects. You need to check it out. I promise you won't be disappointed. Bryan's going to be there. His dog is going to be there. I mean, what more do you need? His wife is going to be there. We're going to have a good time. We're going to learn a lot, and we're going to work on our businesses.
Yeah. Bring puppy treats. He loves that.
Yes.
I have a friend for life.
The pup cups are welcome. So with that, again, Bryan, I really I enjoy every conversation we have. I appreciate you joining me here for this series, and I'm looking forward to seeing you live and in person in Austin, Texas in about 5 weeks, November 1st through 3rd. There it is, smallfirmconference.com. Sign up, join us. We're going to go see the bats, by the way, as well. So
the bats.
Oh, you don't know about the bats?
I don't know about the
was
bats.
it Congress Avenue Bats? Google that.
Oh,
Austin,
I'll have
Texas.
to check that out. Yeah,
you got to check it out. We're going to go see them.
Cool.
Come on along.
All right.
All right,
I'm
everybody.
looking forward. I am so looking forward to this. It's going to be a great time.
It's going to be a fantastic time. So come join us. Meet Bryan, and develop a strategic plan.
I'll have to get back to Chris on the weekend bit. We'll see. I wasn't.
Yeah.
Nobody brought me up to speed on the weekend, so.
Forget balls of twine. We're going to go see bats.
Okay. All right.
All right, everybody. There you go. Bryon McCartney, 90 days and 90 minutes. We're going to do that in about 5 weeks. So join me again next week. I'm going to have more of these previews and introductions to the speakers and presenters at the EntreArchitect Community Annual Meeting. Smallfirmconference.com is the place to go to find more information about that. Bryan, have a great day. To all of your friends and clients down in Florida, please stay safe, be well, batten down the hatches. It's going to be a ride, I think. So be well, everybody out there, and see you again soon.
Stay safe.
Thanks, everybody.